Psalm 76 is a song of triumph, split into three sections: a short introduction, a shortish conclusion, and a slightly longer intermediate part. God is well known in Judah. His name is great in Israel. Jerusalem is where he lives. Mount Zion is his home, where he breaks the arrows of the enemy, the shields and swords and weapons of his foes. It's quite a giveaway whenever the Bible describes Jerusalem as Mount Zion. It's a spiritual term, not just the name of the mountain there in Jerusalem. It is a term that simply means the people of God, or where God lives. So don't get hung up on the geographical location there. Mount Zion is his home. He lives with his people. That's something that Jesus promised us, that God himself would come and live within us. There he breaks the arrows of the enemy, the shields and swords and weapons of his foes. It is when he lives within us that he brings us into the path of peace and reconciliation. He works from within. You are glorious and more majestic than the everlasting mountains. The mightiest of our enemies have been plundered. They lie before us in the sleep of death. No warrior could lift a hand against us when you rebuked them, O God of Jacob. Their horses and chariots stood still. No wonder you are greatly feared. Who can stand before you when your anger explodes? From heaven you sentenced your enemies. The earth trembled and stood silent before you. You stood up to judge those who do evil, O God, and to rescue the oppressed of the earth. The Lord cares about those who are oppressed. He cares about those who are weak and helpless. And the Lord stands to give justice against the oppressors and for the weak ones. From heaven you sentenced your enemies, it says. Oh yes, we're all heading towards that final judgment. But even before then, the Lord intervenes again and again and again to bring justice and righteousness, even to this world. The conclusion. Human opposition only enhances your glory, for you use it as a sword of judgment. Make vows to the Lord your God and fulfill them. Let everyone bring tribute to the Awesome One, for he breaks the spirit of princes and is feared by the kings of the earth. So the first section of that is just like a roundup of what's been said through the rest of the psalm. Human opposition only enhances your glory. What a wonderful way to put it. We may oppose God, but we can never beat him. And God uses that opposition to reflect more of his glory. You use it as a sword of judgment. When people stand against God, it shows more and more of his glory. And so then, a word of advice: make vows to the Lord your God and fulfill them. Let everyone bring tribute to the Awesome One. He is worthy of praise. He is worthy of our service. So let's do it. For he breaks the spirit of princes and is feared by the kings of the earth. The New Testament has a title that speaks of that. It calls Jesus King of Kings and Lord of Lords. No one can stand against him. Lord, we acknowledge your victory and your triumph. Human opposition comes to nothing when turned against you. So, Lord, we turn and serve you, and we allow your peace to work in our hearts and through to the world that we touch, for your glory. Amen.